It's your host, Hollie, and it's time for a little teaser talk.
Rock hard and party harder with Hollie Nicole of Teaser Talk at ShipRocked. Cruise the Caribbean January 19th to 25th from Miami to St. Thomas and Half Moon Cay. This year's floating festival includes performances by Parkway Drive, Hollywood Undead, Nothing More, The Struts, Atreyu, Buck Cherry, and POD, among others. Unique performances from the Stowaways will feature artists like Chad Nicefield of Wilson, Damien and Gabe Aranda of Aranda, and Danny Case from Ashes to New, and many others. Just a few cabins remain available. Go to ShipRocked.com to book and use promo code TeaserTalk to get a $100 credit to use on board.
What is going on, everyone? I am so excited for this long over catch-up podcast interview, like hangout session. What do you want to call it? I don't know. But I am super excited, you guys, for this episode of Teaser Talk. I'm here with the one, the only Chad Nicefield. How are you?
I'm great. You said my last name correct. I love that.
I was sweating bullets on how to pronounce it. And, I guess it just hits. So there's that.
Yeah, 100 out of 100.
Oh my gosh. So it's been some years since we've connected on a podcast platform. Let's catch up. I mean, it was like I interviewed you guys. You guys were recording for Wilson, which RIP Wilson. So like that's how many moons it's been.
Yeah.
What have you been up to these past couple of years?
Man, I'm on the other side of the fence. So instead of being the artist, I'm actually the artist manager. So, shortly, it's strange because when the world shut down for the pandemic, that December before, December 2019, Wilson, laid it to rest, if you will.
Yeah.
Had we known that there was a pandemic coming, we probably would have still been a band. We just needed the time with our families and stuff like that. Well,
yeah,
some of us had families. From that point forward, I didn't really know what to do, but I had idle hands because the world was shut down. There's no Wilson, so I started to use the business side of my brain, and in the search to find income, right, for not only myself, but for some of my friends, but through royalties that they were missing and all of that. I figured out I was pretty good at that side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to take on royalty collections for songs that folks had written and previously weren't connected correctly to get their the money from the societies. And somebody's like, will you manage me? And I was like, yeah, for sure, a songwriter. And then that turned into managing another songwriter. And then that turned into getting a job I was working at for like a year. I was working for MDDN, the Madden brothers, Benji and Joel.
Oh,
and then
cool.
yeah.
Look at you just name dropping casually,
Oh, well, he was I worked directly for Benji. He was like my boss. I was project manager for him. And then that moved into a product manager role for over at Indigoot, which is the management company that actually managed Wilson. They manage like Shinedown and Hailstorm and all of that, Guar. And I just recently left there, and I'm doing my own thing in the management world with my own clients. And that's kind of doing ShipRocked every year. I've done ShipRocked as either a host, or now I put together the Stowaways with my partner Al over there. And that's been the haps, I suppose.
My gosh, that's a lot though. You're like, oh, these little idle hands, let me just go and build a whole bunch of crazy cool shit. So
that's exactly what I had to do. Yeah, thank you very much.
So like, how does that, I'm just curious obviously you have a very business mindset, and it's not going to be super hard for you to make that adjustment, but how was that kind of shift of being like the creator to like more of like the operator?
So it's funny that you bring that up. I spent probably 50% of my time in Wilson, which was 100% of my time, with that hat on, outside of just being the front man and singer. I was the guy who was, between myself and Jason, the guitar player, we were handling, all of from tour managing to our royalty collections to contracts to, we had a manager, but at the same time we're so used to doing it hands-on that it just was a natural fit for me. I like to produce in all in all aspects of that word, whether that's the creative process or producing whatever somebody else's dream is,
Yeah.
and finding the pieces that are missing to make sure that it works properly, at least
Awesome.
to the way that their brain thinks it should
A
work,
good
or
process. Yeah.
wants it to work. Yeah,
That's awesome. You brought up one thing that was talking about like connecting people with their disconnected money from royalties. For people who
Mhm.
are tuning in that maybe have missed opportunity, what's like a quick like thing that you see a lot of artists make when it comes to that? Like, where does that disconnection happen? And then how can people avoid that?
Yeah, so it's funny. It's not funny. It's actually sad that artists aren't educated enough. And the way that the model is set up, the music business in general, it's very confusing because it's not just like one place that you wouldn't just get your royalties from your label, right? That only has to do with one side of a song that we listen to, and that's the master recording. And then the other side is the composition, which also has two sides: publishing and the writer side. Each one of those sides have their own pathway to collect royalties associated with your percentage of ownership in the song that was then recorded. In the master recording is just the audio captured of that composition. So I don't know if I'm making it as clear as it needs to be, but essentially all of those have different lanes that
Mhm.
money comes down into. And if the money is coming down no matter what, every time somebody listens to a song, if you have one stream on one song, there's all of those things have earned money,
Multiple.
right? Yeah. And then you need to know who collects those. And it's not like it's basically like a monopoly. It's not like there's a bunch of options. There's like 3 or 4 for each pathway. And if you think you've done it all by going, the easiest way that I think people get, I find a lot that people get tripped up is if you're looking at your pro, which is BMI, ASCAP, or CSAC, but BMI or ASCAP are the top two. There's two sides, two different accounts that you have to create to collect both of those royalties for the publishing the
Yeah.
song. So most people only do the one side, and they leave the other half of their
Oh.
money on the table. And unfortunately, there's situations that are called black box royalties, where you have 3 years, and then after 3 years, if they can't figure out who to pay that to, your money goes to the larger market shareholders, which would be the Drakes and the Beyoncés. They're taking your
Ah.
money. Yeah. Not that they're asking, not that they're doing it on
Yeah, yeah,
purpose.
it
It's
just
just like they just don't.
happens.
Yeah, yeah. Escrow in general, the law states it can only hold money for so long. So, and then they have to get rid of it. So who gets it? You know?
Whoa. Well, we're getting balls deep real quick in this conversation. I
Sorry.
was like, man, I
It's
was
my
like,
favorite
damn.
thing to talk about is,
No, 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 no. Like this is what
yeah.
I love about it though. Like that conversation is like important. And just curious, I know you said that you started your own you're doing your own business and stuff. Is that part of like services and things that you offer with artists currently?
For only, yeah, but I mean, I'll help out any friend
Yeah, for sure.
that needs the help, in general.
Yeah.
That's just that's part of my
Look at you
personality,
just
but
out
I
here.
only really do it, knee deep into
Yeah.
the trenches with my own clients. Yeah.
Gotcha. I was just trying to do a shameless plug because
Oh,
clearly,
well,
obviously, you're
if you
very
need some
within.
help collecting your royalties, Chad Nicefield at gmail.com. I'll help you out there. Or
Spelled
simply,
just like you say it. Nice,
yeah,
Phil.
exactly. You can also use my business email, which is chad at novelstate.com or .net. I think, sorry.
Whoa, professional guy with a professional email.
Yeah,
I
I got
love
that
it.
LLC locked in, everything.
Whoa,
Limited liability for this guy.
look at you.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Like that was great, like perspective too for like artists and stuff, because obviously a lot of listeners not only are just music fans of the podcast, but they also are artists themselves too. So I was just wanted to plug that in and really kind of open eyes there, because that's a lot of missed opportunity. That's crazy.
Yeah,
All right.
seriously is.
So let's circle back in around ShipRocked, which is really freaking cool. I am so excited. This is my first year of going, and I'm doing
Oh, it
media
is?
coverage. Yeah.
Damn, you're gonna have so
I
much fun.
I cannot wait. Like I'm literally counting down each day. Like I'm wearing a long sleeve turtleneck today, and I cannot wait to not wear this. And you know what I mean? Like I want to be in the
Yeah.
Caribbean, not where it's freaking cold.
Where
So
do you live right now, by the way?
I
What
am in
area?
the fabulous state of Oklahoma.
Oklahoma? That like, damn, I did not expect you to say that. It's pretty cold there. It gets cold there, right?
Yeah, well, I'm just a baby too, so I'm like I stay cold, like I'm icy, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, probably today's probably like 40 degrees, 30 degrees, too fucking cold for me.
Yeah, it's about the same here. Yeah, it is too fucking cold. I agree.
Yeah. So let's talk about sunnier days and warmer times. You know, what advice do you want to give me as a first time goer? I mean, obviously
Okay.
I've been on a cruise before, but I haven't been on a music cruise, specifically ShipRocked. What's some
Just
advice?
the biggest piece of advice, or most, I guess, useful piece of advice that
Yeah.
if I were to say anything, is just be open minded. Just say yes. Just do it. Like the idea everything can feel a little. If you've never been on a ship before, you've never sailed before. There's this like mental thing that you have to overcome. You
Mhm.
might get seasick, but generally that's something that you can kind of ward away with your mind.
Yeah.
Or just drink more booze and it all feels the same. The the one thing that people tend to like, I think, not know going into it is how much activity there's going to be all the time. So you're going to have FOMO because you can't, sometimes some of the sets will overlap, just like at any music festival. The
Mhm.
ship is large, but it's not too large where you can't like run across one of the floors to get to the other stage. The other thing is, I would say, man, bring sandals for or some sort of like beach footwear. Don't go raw, because
We
as a guy
will.
who's, yeah,
So no raw dogging on
you
ShipRocked.
you
Got
can raw dog. That's up to you. I mean, I'm not gonna.
With your
I'm
footwear,
not.
anyways.
Yeah, but with your footwear, I wouldn't. The other the other thing I would probably say is to let you know that the soft serve ice cream machine is open 24/7.
See, this is information I don't need to know.
Okay.
Like I don't need to know I don't need to know pizza's gonna be available at 2 a.m. Ice cream's gonna be available at 3 a.m. Like,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Those are all going to happen.
Mhm.
I think just like be prepared.
Yeah.
Everybody will overpack, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure they have all your essentials.
Well, I'm gonna have to make sure if I get thrown into cruise jail because I said yes to something I shouldn't have. You're gonna be my get out of jail phone call. I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
sorry, Chad, but you told me to say yes, and I said yes, and now I'm here. I need to get out.
yeah. As you're getting kicked, yeah, as you're kicking and screaming, getting pulled away, be
Like,
like, "Night, Chad Nicefield's had to say
you don't know
yes."
you don't know who you're fucking with. I know Chad Nicefield. Like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that'll
you and
work for
everybody else in the
sure.
ship lady kick rocks. Oh my gosh, that's funny. So, yeah, obviously you've seen all the different stages of it, literally, like being performing to, hosting to putting things together. What's been your most memorable moment on Shipwrecked that if you had to pick one, what would be your favorite?
Two. Okay, man. There's two. There's two there. I don't know which ones. I mean, there's more than two, but these two
All right, well, let's
are like.
share both of them because it sounds like they're
Okay.
very
Okay.
close. Yeah.
So it was, I think, 2014 or 15. We were on Shiprock for the second time. This is the second time we
Mhm.
played on it. But we did one Shiprock, then we did Motorboat, which was operated by the same people asked for, and then we did Shiprocked again the following year. And that year it landed on the Super Bowl. So they asked us, Wilson, to be the kickoff. Sorry,
Yep.
to play the halftime show. I don't even know if it was the kickoff, though, because we did one of those too. When the ship sails, it's the only thing that happens. Everybody does a big group photo, and then a band starts,
Yeah.
right? So it's like a huge show. We had brought. I was like, well, if we're gonna do the halftime set, and oh yeah, I think Zach Zach Wild did a guitar solo before we came on, and then we played and we went all out. I had the marching bass drum back in the day, but I put on the entire marching bass drum, like marching band guy costume. We had cheerleaders that we had outfitted in full like Wilson fuckery shirts and green pom
Oh
poms,
man.
and we had confetti cannons and all the shit that you would probably wish that was happening during a ship's Super Bowl uh, halftime show. And then the second memory I have that's like the craziest is we were scheduled to play off the ship, and this is the second to last, or maybe the last. No, it's the second to last ship that Wilson played with. We did so many of them, I don't even remember that. But this one, we were supposed to play off the ship on the beach, and we didn't get to because of the weather. So I just did a DJ set, and it was fun and everything. But we had brought our gear off the boat, and when it was time to get back on the boat, there's production. There's people who bring that gear to and fro. It's not because we're lazy. It's because you have to do it. Port rules.
Yeah.
We got on the ship, didn't think anything of it. About 15, 20 minutes after we're on the ship, it wasn't an easy, no, it was the next day. The next day we found out our gear never made it onto the ship.
No.
So like we had another show to play on the ship, and we're like, well, I don't know how we're going to do. We literally can't do anything. All of our shit was there. So the ship got their production manager to get a ride hours back, right when our ship got to the next destination. It happened to be on the same continent of Mexico, to go all the way back to where we just were, get our gear, and in the nick of time, he was able to make it onto the ship. And that night, we played a makeup show because we had to miss our other show, and that makeup show was in this tiny room called the atrium in the middle of the ship. But when you look up, it's all the floors.
Yeah.
And we played in that room, which was nuts. It was fucking, I think it was the last show on that ship too. It was bananas. I will never forget that moment. Both of those for sure. Sorry.
Wow.
That was a long way.
Yeah, you have a lot to you're putting it really up higher as far as the expectations and the things like this. So I'm gonna have to try to one up you on these shenanigans.
You have to.
Environments. So wow.
For sure.
Okay, so one thing I've noticed is obviously there's a bunch of theme nights, there's a bunch of events going on, things like this. And I'm curious, there's prom night. Do we dress up for prom? Do we not dress up for prom? I'm just not trying to be that person that's like, oh my gosh, she dressed up. I'm also not trying to be that person that's like, oh, she didn't dress up. What's your thoughts on that?
So I would dress up. There's so many fucking people on that ship dress up. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
And the few times that I didn't do it, because every day is almost a theme, right? So there's a few days after each sailing that it just didn't work out. I usually, unfortunately, can't do it. However, everybody else is doing it, and it looks so much fucking fun. So I would suggest at least doing one of the theme nights.
Okay.
But you should lean into it as far as you can, because it is super fun.
All right. Well, I guess a better question though is, are you doing it?
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Okay. I'm just making sure you're not giving me some shady advice over here.
I haven't been to the prom. Oh, I went to prom once, twice.
Yeah, but
for the sake of the story, I'll say I haven't been to prom.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go and ship prom. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Okay, so we've covered the theme nights. Yes, we're dressing up. Experience is crazy. Some advice and tips. What is, as far as a performer as far as performing goes, what's the difference between performing on land versus on a stage on ShipRocked?
Vertigo.
Like a fun house.
Yeah. I mean, I'll never forget. It was the first ship we did, and it was at night in the theater stage. Papa Roach was playing, and the ship was fucked. I don't think we've been in rockier water since that night. And you could if Jacoby jumped up, he would land in a completely different section of the stage. You could see people were tumbling around, couldn't walk straight. It wasn't massive to where people were getting hurt or falling over, but yeah, that for sure happens. It's the water. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that is wild. So, obviously there's a lot of performances going on, a lot of events going on outside of those awesome epic performances that's happening on the ship. What is something that someone has to experience at least once on ShipRocked beyond the music?
The ice cream machine.
Oh my gosh.
So honestly, I'm just
stocking this ice cream machine.
Soft screen. Yeah, I'm just always there, just posted up, hard styling, being like, okay, that's enough. No, I think probably there's this event that happens. It's we do a lot of games, right? That are artists participating with fans.
Yep.
And there's this one. I always forget what it's called, but it is shit. Fuck. it's like a scavenger hunt essentially inside of a room, but it's like adult themed. So there's not like things that are like placed around previously. It's like you're hearing the question, you have to do or find or say the thing with your team. It's at midnight. I forget the name of the fucking event, but you have to go to it. Everybody told me, and I had never been to it the like first 5 or 6 sailings, and then I went to it the past 4 or 5 of them, and every single time it is wild, like out of control. So I would definitely go to that.
Okay, so I'm gonna add that to my list. The insert
I'll
unknown
figure
name
it out what it
exact.
is, and I'll remind you the name. Yeah, for
Perfect.
sure.
Absolutely. Because that sounds like some shenanigans I need to be part of. And I've been on a cruise before. I've actually only been on one cruise. And I thought I was gonna hate it because I was like, oh my God, being stuck on a location with exact same people for like days on end just sounds like absolutely pain for me, torture.
Yeah.
I'd rather eat glass type scenario. But I actually enjoyed it because it was fun and exciting. But I swear I never felt so young and so pretty because everyone was so old, and like everyone like lights out at 9 p.m. and I'm like, what the fuck? And I was there with my best friend and it was his birthday, and we're like birthday shenanigans, ready to party, and then you have like these like people that are like lights out. I think it was closed. So I'm super excited to hear that it sounds like the party doesn't stop.
It does not
And
stop. You can
what it
find
sounds like
trouble at
is I'm
any
gonna have
hour.
to find a way to get sleep. Like what hours of the day am I gonna be sleeping? So
Sleeps for the week. I'm just joking. Sleep is great. You got to find it when you can. I suggest getting some earplugs, or what I use is AirPods. Then use the
oh
little
yeah,
like
yeah,
isolation thing, and I
yeah. Little
sleep like like a
little
baby.
pro tip there. I like that. Well,
Yeah.
very cool. So, obviously you've been to so many shipwrocked. How do you say it?
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
shipwrocked.
shipwrocks.
Shipwrocked is. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's like okay. Anyways, what are you most excited about for 2025 shipwrocked?
I'd be lying if I didn't say the Stowaway set. Ever
Mm,
since I, came into the fold as part of that team, putting it together, create it's fun to do, but it's also we're thinking about the guests, we're thinking about the ship's theme, we're
mhm.
thinking about everything that those 6 to 7 days encompass in these 2 sets. And bringing on friends that I haven't seen in a long time to come on and play in the band, and just like the camaraderie.
Yeah.
It's the first time that I think ever in my career of music, or I felt like that connected to the people that I was working with. Well, like in a way that's different than being in a band, because there's so many of
Like
them.
fornication, but not.
Yeah.
Okay.
If somebody's going to say just a tip, or like just before the tip, you know,
Okay. Like, yeah, like you feel body heat, but it's
it's
not,
nothing going to do. It's
doesn't
gross.
count.
That's gross. Yeah. Exactly. Like if you
Oh
Yeah,
man.
you got it. That's
Feel
locked and loaded. Yeah. We're just tip on tip, almost.
tip
But
on tip. Okay, I can
we,
definitely not miss any of that stuff.
yeah. No, it's fucking. It's so fun. The sets are so fun. There's
Yeah.
always surprises.
I'm super
Uh,
excited. A couple of my friends are actually going to be there. Damien and
yeah, the
Gabe
Random Boys.
Miranda. Yeah, I actually
Yeah.
just saw them like 2 days, 3 days ago. They had a show here. It was like in Oklahoma City. So we're Oklahoma City based. And I saw them that they were performing with the Nixons. It was like a anniversary show for one of
Oh,
the, yeah, it was a bunch, it was a good little dad rock show. It was
yeah.
good
I
times.
love those. I love those dudes. They're so
Yeah,
fun, so
they're
funny.
they're very animated. I like their performances.
Yeah, they always crush on the ship. So
For sure. Well, very cool. So we've got the shipwreck conversation. We've got all caught up to date. Before I let you go and do all the amazing shit that you're doing, any last minute things you want to share? Any last farewell words or motivational tip on tip suggestions that you can share with us?
if you want the real tip on tip, again, the soft serve ice cream
Oh my
machine is
gosh.
open
I swear, if I
24/7.
get that and I get ill, I'm gonna be so upset with you. Like if I get it and then like for some reason I get the one that has a batch of E. coli or something crazy, and then I'm sick the entire time.
You're just shitting your actual pants.
Well, I wasn't
No,
gonna
no.
say that.
Oh well, I mean, you said a coli, so I was just that's the
Well, I know,
natural.
but we didn't have to go into details. I was just saying
Yeah.
being ill, but okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay. Well, if you don't shit your pants, but you just have a little stomach bug, I promise you that I'll be there. I'll give you all the Gatorade you need.
You're so sweet. And I'm gonna actually, I'll just make sure that you eat it first. I'm gonna wait 20 minutes and then I'll eat it. How about that?
Yeah, you just be like
I'll let
creeping
you.
spine,
Mhm.
wait, watching me get the ice cream,
Like I'm
and
like
then
trying to
walk
be in a
away.
disguise. And you're like, Holly, I see you, fucking weirdo. I'm like, what are you talking about?
No, I ain't got no ice cream.
And all of a
Yeah.
sudden, like, I have this weird accent, like, Mom, no. You're like,
Yeah.
awful, awful. Okay, well, I can't wait. I think we're what, about 40 days or less?
Yeah, you
We're
just
very
reminded me
excited.
of how much work I have. I just fuck. I have to get all these set lists, the set list over to all the stowaways this week. So
Yeah,
I'm
I just
sorry if you're watching this.
one more
Be there.
thing though. You're like, sorry for those guys who are watching this, and sorry, Gabe, sorry,
Yeah.
Fabian. Whoops.
What songs am I playing? Yeah. Yeah.
Real quick though, before I let you go, one thing I want to touch on was the stowaways, and I know there's some history there. Of course, everyone can Google that shit if you guys want to, GTS it, but kind of give a real quick story on what that is, and like because I know it's obviously artists from different bands that obviously maybe the whole band wasn't able to perform. And what are they, like pop-up shows? Are they like, is it like an event? Is it two events? What is this?
Yeah. So every band on the ship play two sets.
Mhm.
Sometimes there'll be a few that do something interesting, like an acoustic show somewhere else
Yeah.
or whatever. But all bands are scheduled to play two sets. Same with the Stowaways. So it's both of those sets. They happen on the deck stage, the main stage or whatever.
Yep.
And what we do throughout the year is we bring together a ragtag group of musicians from years past, if their bands played, or just people in general that have reached out to us, or we've always been interested in bringing them on. And then we create, each song in the set list has a different lineup pretty much. So like, as you would watch a show, we bring up and introduce more and more people. Sometimes those lineups, somebody will be on the stage for a little bit longer than the other, but essentially that's how it goes. And nobody from the crowd's perspective, knows who's on what song or what song we're
Mm.
playing. They just know it's a theme. So it's kind of like, as the set rolls, it's a surprise to everybody. And there's tons of surprises for us too. We're like, oh shit. One time, somebody last minute, we couldn't find them, so somebody had to jump up and sing a song that they literally had never practiced. But so it was such a popular song that they were able to
Yeah.
get through it. It's funny because none of us in the band like rehearse beforehand. We actually have two rehearsals on the ship that are like done quietly in another room, and that's the first time that any of these people that are
Wow.
playing together have played together for the most time.
Yeah, it
Most
sounds
times.
like an organized chaotic chaos. Like,
Yeah, it is. That's
so you
exactly what
definitely
it is.
have your work put in. How do you go explain through it a little bit more that I can understand it? I'm like, fuck, I should have let you go like 10 minutes ago so you can start working now until then.
I was working on it right before I jumped on this. Yeah. There's like 35 like folks, and
So
some
you're like responsible this year for making that shit happen.
yeah.
So if it's a flop, it's gonna be all on you.
Yeah.
But if it's a success, it's all on you too. So
Yeah, not just me. There's more people involved, but I definitely am the forward
yeah,
facing. I will be the public punching bag if it goes to shit.
correct.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to aim at, but I didn't want to say it. You said it first. So
Yeah. 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 They're gonna
well,
be like, that's Stock Nicefield.
yeah. Everyone's like boo, like you have to like run around like
Just
fighting
looking at
yourself.
me, not the guys,
No.
not the people on stage. They're just like, boo. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll start that heckle session too. I'm like, oh, this is my
Please.
chance to shine. Here it
Don't be
is.
surprised if soft serve ice cream comes flailing at you through the air.
So,
I'm just
so be
saying.
surprised if I get poison soft serve ice cream delivered to my door.
Yeah, exactly. A little side of E. coli.
Little dash of poison splash. Okay. Anyways, well, Chad, it was so good seeing you, and I can't wait to. Fuck, you're gonna get tired of me. 6 days on the Caribbean. Let's see if we can make it without one of us going overboard.
I hope it's me.
Yeah, me too. I'm not the best
Yeah.
swimmer, so.
I'm very, very excited to hang with you. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Well, it was good catching up with you. And then, yeah, you guys tuning in. Make sure you guys go follow Chad, Mr. Nicefield, spelled just like it sounds, on social media. Check out his, I would not say business, but I know you're like, I'm selective. So, anyways, you guys just follow him and stay tuned and then see if it's if it's a hit or a miss with what he's organizing on ShipRocked. Chad, thanks so much again. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much, Hollie.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Teaser Talk. Head over to teasertalk.com to subscribe so you don't miss out on another episode. Until next week, keep rocking.